Hello and welcome. You're watching youtube.com/NDTV. I'm Ankita Mukherji and this is News of the Hour. This is where we go beyond the headlines to give you a little more detail on the day's big story. Well, one story that's broken in the last hour or so is the arrest of JNU student Sharjeel Imam, who's been accused of sedition. He's been arrested from his hometown, which is in Bihar's Jehenabad district. And this comes after several teams of the Delhi Police's crime branch spanned out into different cities looking for him. He's been missing, in fact, since Sunday. So 48 hours on, it seems Sharjeel Imam is finally in police custody, but there seem to be several contradictions in this story. The Delhi police say they've tracked him down after questioning and holding members of his family. His family insists that he has surrendered, and this is because they believe that he has just been made a scapegoat, that he didn't say anything that was seditious or treasonous in any way. So let's just rewind a few days to where this story begins. Well, Sharjeel Imam is a student who, it seems, came into the limelight during the Shaheen Bagh protests, and that was the time when, it seems, people started hearing about him. But the critical part of this dates back to December, when he made a speech in Jamia Millia Islamia University. But the biggest thing that is under scrutiny right now is a speech that he made in the Aligarh Muslim University in Uttar Pradesh, and that was on the 16th of January. So what was it that Sharjeel Imam said in that speech, which was obviously part of the Anti-Citizenship Amendment Act protests in AMU? Well, it seems in a 40-minute long speech, of which just a 2 or 3 minute clip seems to have gone viral, and several of the cases against Sharjeel Imam are based on that clip. He can be heard saying that India and the Northeast would be permanently cut if 5 lakh people can be organized. Now, the police says that this speech promotes violence, it promotes secessionism, and Imam is saying that that is not what he was talking about at all. What he had called for was a blockade, a chakka jam as it were. He said if 5 lakh people get together and cut off the roads and the rail services, then essentially goods will no longer move between India and the entire Northeast. And if that can be organized permanently, or if not permanently, at least for a month, then he felt that, that would take the protests to in a new direction, or words to that effect. Now, his family, of course, claims at this point that they will make the full video of this speech available, and anyone who listens to it will know that Sharjeel Imam is in fact not talking about literally cutting off the Northeast from India or secessionism in any form. What he is talking about is a blockade or a chakka jam. Now, effectively, chakka jams are in fact a legitimate form of protests in India. In 2008, if you remember, several Hindutva groups had in fact blocked off the Jammu-Srinagar highway during the Amarnath agitations and effectively cutting off Kashmir from the rest of the country. At that point, no cases of sedition were made out against any of them, and that was a blockade that actually took place. Here, what we are hearing is just talk of a blockade or plans for a blockade. No blockade has actually effectively even been carried out. So whether there is in fact a case of sedition or treason to be made out against Sharjeel Imam or not is, of course, the big question. Again, are we seeing a case of boilerplate charges being leveled against activists or protesters for speaking up against the new citizenship law or not? That is something that needs to be looked at very closely. Now, it isn't just the Delhi police, by the way, that is looking for Sharjeel Imam. There are cases against him now in 5 different states. What are we talking about? Well, he's wanted in Assam, in Manipur, in Arunachal Pradesh and Uttar Pradesh, all of which are BJP-ruled states. He is also wanted by the Delhi police, and remember, the Delhi police also reports to the center and of course the BJP government there as well. The Delhi police goes a step further and claims that he made divisive speeches on at least 2 separate occasions. Yes, on January 16th at AMU, which is the most contentious and will be the one that is looked at most closely. But they also say that he made a very provocative speech earlier in December during the protests at Jamia Millia Islamia, and that they are looking at that as well. They are likely to in fact get custody of him perhaps as early as tonight. The plan, it seems, is to bring him to Delhi and produce him in Delhi's Hazari court, Delhi's Patiala House court tomorrow, and the case will go forward from there. Since the 25th of January, though, as we said, 5 states have charged Sharjeel Imam, and these include charges under the Anti-Terror Law, the very stringent Unlawful Activities Prevention Act, or UAPA. And there are other charges against him for sedition, for promoting religious enmity, for inciting unlawful activity. And that is under Section 13, as we said, of this very stringent Unlawful Activities Prevention Act. In Manipur, again, the police has filed an FIR against Imam for sedition, for waging war against the Indian government, for the conspiracy to commit offences, indulging in vilification or attacks on a particular group. So it's a range of sort of very serious charges that have been filed against him. So what do we know about Sharjeel Imam himself? Just who is he and where did he suddenly pop out from? Well, he is a research scholar in the prestigious Jawaharlal Nehru University. JNU, of course, has been in the limelight for all the wrong reasons, from a masked group of hoodlums barging onto campus and creating chaos and destruction there, to the ongoing crisis over the fee hike protests, and indeed it's been a hotbed of political activity. Sharjeel Imam has obviously been a very significant part of the Anti-Citizenship Amendment Act protests, but he's also a research scholar, a PhD student of the Modern History Center in JNU. But before that, it seems he was a brilliant student of computer sciences in the Bombay IIT. And his family uses his academic record to say that here is a very meritorious student, someone who's always been a thoughtful person. He's being blamed, in fact, for his political views rather than anything he's actually said or done. So they say again that he has surrendered, he certainly hasn't been arrested, and that they believe the law will take its course. We'll continue to track Sharjeel Imam's story here on NDTV 24/7. For the moment, we hope we've left you with a little more to think about why this young man has been arrested.